I do want to ask another question. This is related to the Iron Man. I might as well even bring it back up. Are we happy with the remakes as long as they're figures we want? Because with me, the way I approach it is that I'm happy with a remake pretty much either way. Because it's nice if your figure holds some value. At least it's retail value. That's pretty nice. Everyone likes that. Or maybe it goes up in value. That's nice too. Everyone likes that also. But with remakes, it can be a little bit of a dangerous game, especially if you bought the previous one or straight up reissues. That can be even further of a dangerous game. Because then you got the same exact figure possibly, and it's just everyone already paid for the other one, right? So it's kind of a little bit different. I'm actually fine with remakes, but I want to get your guys' thoughts. Carlos, are you happy with remakes overall? Like if there's improvements to be made, is there a certain time period that you think they should give you a grace period, or do you not care at all?
I think, and I've said this before, after a figure has been released, 5 years.
Okay.
If it's been 5 years from that time, and they do a 2.0 that is worthy over 2.0, I think that's fair. A Mark 6 with the gantry. The Mark 5 was kind of weird because they should have just done the reissue with the base, that diorama race car base. What I didn't like, for example, was the BVS Batman, where all they did was just give it like a base, right? I think that's all they did. They got the deluxe and the standard and they put it together as a 2.0.
Right.
So something like that, then I wouldn't be okay with that. If they're improving it in some way, adding some great features, a new base, is something overall, I'm totally cool with it. And it's been some time. Again, the Hulk, that definitely needs, a 2.0. That would be awesome. Winter Soldier, that would be an awesome 2.0. Those are the only two that come to mind. But I'm perfectly fine as long as it's been like 5 years or so. You give people a chance to like buy these. It sells out. They can do whatever they want, enjoy it. Not necessarily where like, they're doing a 2.0 right away, like the Mark 5 and then the Mark 5 with the they released it and then there's like the one with the base or the race car base, whatever. So
right.
That's what I would say.
Well, I would actually be happy, with a remake as long as it improves upon the quality of the original and reissues even. I mean, it's fine to me at the end of the day, but I never would have got that Loki from Endgame, essentially. That's basically a remake. I mean, they labeled it Endgame, and the Dark Side Anakin that I still believe is going to be coming eventually. Like that's going to be a remake too, basically. So I think it's great to give collectors an opportunity, and, I think it's, as long as we're inclusive, I think it's pretty nice. So, Marco, what do you think here about, these remakes? Is this something that you like seeing? Are you indifferent? Where are you at with it?
I'm glad we're distinguishing between remakes and reissues because I'm less of a fan of reissues.
Right.
Obviously, sometimes it needs to be done, and when it's a figure that you want, I haven't been in the game for super long, so I could get excited by, if they reissued all the Terminator figures tomorrow, the T2 figures, I would lose my mind and want all of them. That being said, I'm more of a fan of the remake because, give them a reason to go back, update. So again, if we're on Terminator, give us a full leather, outfit. And then that gives you a reason to touch the figure again. It's an improvement. We're seeing that the hobby is kind of evolving. So it kind of makes you excited on all fronts. Yes, it is kind of a bummer if you own the original and all of a sudden it's outdated. But I think Carlos is right. If there's enough of a time period, you've kind of invested that money, you've been able to enjoy it in your collection. And then when it, finally comes out with a new and improved version, I think you have an opportunity to either add that or be satisfied with what you already have. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the remakes because I think technology is advancing so quickly that, figures that came out 5-6 years ago, they can kind of touch those, innovate, and give us a, new, like you were saying, Iron Men with hopefully batteries built in that you can just touch and everything lights up, full leather, seamless arms. There's so many different directions they can go with updating the figures that, yeah, I'm always a big fan, especially when it's a character that I want. So,
well, I think it's also too, like, what if they go back, like Carlos was mentioning, and do grails? Like, for example, as great as that Hela is, what if they go back and fix the shoulders? What if they go back and say, okay, now we're going to have like a seamless upper body with Hela. Everything else pretty much mostly the same, maybe some small tweaks here and there. Like kind of like they tweaked Black Panther T'Challa. Like they updated it just a little bit to make it a lot better. I actually really love 2.0s because I'm sitting here thinking about the T'Challa Black Panther they improved, the Loki they improved, every Iron Man 2.0 that they've done they've improved. Everything's better. Like Carlos was mentioning, imagine a Hulk from Avengers 1 or Age of Ultron that's a 2.0 and new and improved, right? I think there's a lot of Bane. Like we're forgetting about Bane that just made. That's a huge improvement.
DX19.
Yeah, DX19, big improvement. So I think if there are improvements to be made, I think the community is pretty much all on board with that. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, completely. Because again, like the Bane, we were seeing third parties or like customs that do it better. And so it's cool when they take inspiration and they're like, okay, we can give a new and updated version of this, and it can get everyone excited about that property again. So yeah, I think the community is mostly on board.
Yeah, same here. As long as there's, there's enough time and an improvement. Yeah, like Hela, it's a good example, Will, because then, they can even come back with an actual head sculpt at one point, as opposed to
they could.
You know what I mean? That will look really good. So, hey, 2.0s on Grails, nothing wrong with that. I think someone mentioned they're thinking of selling their Back to the Future too. Hey,
yeah, I saw that.
They came out with the cars. It wouldn't surprise me if they come out with the figures. And Doc Brown, I mean, they didn't even update the head sculpt for part 1. Maybe because they're like, hey, just use the same one for part 2.
There we go. He's good to go.
Right.
Yeah, he's already done. So
right, makes sense. Well, let us know in the chat, guys, what you think about remakes and reissues. That said, we do have a super chat I want to address before I move on to our next topic.